Yes. See? And then watch this.
We're gonna fade this time. Oh, that was nice.
Thank you.
Hello and welcome to Relationship Rehab. Oh, sometimes the minor things just make us so happy. You see how we kind of faded it?
Yeah.
Last week it was like this abrupt, and then it was like, oh, we're on. And this week it was all, pretty and fadey. And so I am Lee.
And I'm Paul.
And we are the writers of Coupledums.
Yes.
Coupledum.com.
Close there.
The relationship blog where we talk about relationships, all kinds of relationships, marriage, dating, love, sex,
Sex. Say
yeah.
it again because apparently that's our topic today.
Well, yeah, and other stuff that affects your relationships. I mean, like for example, next week, we're gonna have like two topics basically because we're gonna have a guest next week because we're gonna be talking about menopause.
Yes, we will.
Or as Dr. Lovera and David Miller say, womanopause. Haha. So, still doesn't make it any better. Let's see. So, we'll be talking about that, and we'll be talking about dating, all in the same thing. That's just amazing. How do we do it?
We're amazing. Mm-hmm. We do things like that.
Yes. We've been writing a lot. And our topics recently have been topical, which is weird because we're a relationship blog. There's no reason for our stuff to be topical. It's relationships. It's always topical because this is part of your life. It's not like, politics or something that just happens to happen. And
people have been relating since the caveman days.
Yeah. Or even before then.
Really?
Well, if you figure, if you believe in evolution, and if anything that our society is showing us recently that a lot of people don't, which is kind of scary, animals relate.
True.
So, of course, therefore, whereby we do.
Yes.
And there's a reason for relating. What is the reason to relate? It's because you want to find the right mate. Simple as that. You want to find the right people to create community with. You want to find the right.
Doing little rhymes? Huh?
Am I?
Yeah. We relate to mate.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't do it consciously.
I like we relate to mate.
Yeah.
Ooh, don't push that ball.
But people don't think of it that way. We think of it this very disconnected way, and I think that this is one of the reasons why we have such an issue with sex in our society. Mm-hmm. We've forgotten what the whole purpose is. We've forgotten what why we do it.
Well, we do like to categorize things and put them into their little boxes. No pun intended.
Little boxes. Yeah.
So suddenly, sex has nothing to do with relationship.
And yet, it really doesn't. On a very abstract sense, you don't have to have sex to relate.
Right.
Because obviously, if that were the case, then we'd be fucking our friends and relatives and stuff like that. That's not the purpose. I mean, sex has nothing to do with that. Get it? But no.
Sex is also important.
But sex is also important. I know, it's confusing. We have, first of all, what we've done is we've disconnected sex from relating. Then we did something that made sex the centerpiece of a relationship.
Yes. Nice and psychotic, huh?
It is. I mean, it's completely psychotic because it's like, why would someone, okay, and I'm going to talk specifically to the guys here because you guys are the ones that started it.
Okay.
Why would guys think that, no, I need to go sow my wild oats, which means I have to basically put as many notches on my bedpost as I can, okay? And, to use another euphemism, fuck as many girls as I can. Oh, wow, that's not a euphemism.
Oh, by the way, if there's any children...
Yeah, get them out of the room.
Get them out of the room. Especially on this episode.
Yeah, because obviously if it's called Who the Fuck, you shouldn't have your kids in the room. My kids aren't in the room.
No.
Okay. So you start with that concept. Get as many as you can before you settle down. As if, being married means that someone tied a noose and anchor around your neck, which it really shouldn't.
No.
And it usually doesn't. Okay? Even statistically, we know married people have more sex than single people. So this concept of that marriage is, it's just tying me down. Unless, you have to marry the girl that is going to force you to work in a coal mine,
Well, see, the problem is that some of that concept, I wouldn't put it there. That's really not balanced.
It's right there. It's right
there.
Sorry.
One of the problems with that concept is that it's coming from some of the sex addict people.
But it's also coming from the times where, the Victorian times where women weren't supposed to be participatory in sex.
But I think that is one angle of it. But some of that we, statistically know isn't true. The other angle, though, is can you only be with one woman? Yeah.
That must be so tough.
Yeah.
As if you were this big Don Juan
yes,
kind of guy.
Right.
I mean, the thing is that as a woman, you grow up thinking, okay, guys are just getting it left and right. And for him to settle down with me, my gosh, that's just so beautiful. And then as a psychotherapist who reads, all the stuff out there and reads all the studies, you find out that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true.
Yes.
Because
left and right are your hands. That's it.
It's like the only thing that guys are really giving up when they're getting married is hanging out with their friends and the illusion,
it's the illusion
that that there's. Okay, I was about to say something really nasty, but that there's greener pastures, and I was going to use another P word for that somewhere. And then that's not true, and that's all the illusions that we've created in our head. So all these concepts of marriage, all these cliches of marriage that you see on every TV show, on every TV show out there. There's so few TV shows that actually, talk about marriage that's real, And I think that's one of the reasons why there's so much divorce. Because they walk into a marriage thinking that is really what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like you're trying to play out this, Lucy, Ricky kind of, Carol Brady, Mike kind of bullshit marriage that does not exist. That those concepts, those contexts of what a marriage is supposed to be don't exist. Marriage is two people in a relationship, and usually they want the same things. Hopefully, if they're getting married, they want the same things, which means they want each other. They want to have fun with each other. Right. They want to create a life together, perhaps at some point have a family, or maybe not have a family, and just really enjoy the hell out of each other, travel someday. Where's the jokes there? It's not funny. That's the point. That's why they don't put it on TV.
That's right.
A normal marriage is boring as fuck. I mean, that's, it's not this bombastic fighting thing. Yeah. So why am I getting into this? We're talking about who to fuck today. It has nothing to do with it. Yeah. Yes. But it does.
If you're married, fuck your spouse.
What a great idea.
It's a good,
I like that idea. So anyway, what else have we been doing? So Couple Dumb. If you haven't been reading Couple Dumb, apparently we've been very edgy this year. We've been getting a lot of good comments, a lot of people spreading things around. And as an added bonus, because I had some sort of epiphany, when was it, in December or something like that?
You know, maybe many epiphanies.
I know.
So which one are we talking about?
We're talking about like Thursdays now. Why we do Thursdays? I just had this thing where, I talk to a lot of people. A lot of people talk to me, ask for advice and things like that. which is fine. You know, if you have any questions about your relationships or any concerns, go ahead. Email me, info@coupledom.com, or I'll even be nicer, Lee@coupledom.com.
That's right. Being the info would just come to me and
I
then I
know.
have to forward it there. It's-
I know. But, and that doesn't mean that I'm going to put it on the blog or anything
No.
like that. So just write me and that's okay.
but if you want it on the blog, just say
yeah,
so.
say so. But the point is that I get a lot of questions, and a lot of things have to do with being anxious. And, you know, I've had, you know, this is a really trying time right now in the United States. You know, our economy is funky, people are stressed, people without jobs, the politics are just so out of control. I mean, you know, I was just reading this morning that Santorum is that women shouldn't be on the front lines of battle because it'll distract the men. And, you know, just it's just so stupid.
Santorum has some major sex issues.
Oh my
doesn't he?
God. And a guy can't fight, you know, can't concentrate on the mission because he's gonna be too worried about taking care of her. It's like, dude, what year is this? I don't know. But and that causes stress. Mm-hmm. Listening to crap like that causes stress because this guy potentially could be a president, which means that at some point he's going to have to hand me an apron, you know, which is really scary. I like cooking, but don't force me. But the point is, people are stressed and people are really just so. Every Thursday now is dedicated to relaxing and calming and actual techniques and.
Right.
And how-tos, and and I'm not getting into the philosophy as much as I'm getting into just stop. You know, no more
Breathe
anxiety.
Like this.
You know, it's like
Think like this.
Xanax and Paxil and enough, people.
Yeah.
You don't need all that stuff. Your body was created to handle stress. Mm-hmm. Your body and your brain was created to handle stress. Because you see, cavemen did not take Xanax after being you know, chased down by animals. They didn't. You can handle this without having to freak out. Okay? So I'm giving you the techniques, giving you the how-tos. Do it. You know, and I think that people are enjoying it. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from it. So
very much so.
Very happy about that.
Yeah.
So, who to have sex with? Okay. What do you think?
Well, actually, when we started writing it,
Right.
it's one of those weird questions. Yeah,
It's a circular
right.
argument. Yeah.
Because, we're not prudes. So, on one end, it's everybody, and at another end, it's nobody. You know, and that really is, there's somewhere in between that makes more sense.
Okay, and on the next show, here's a problem that we have. Okay. We have become disconnected. Human beings are disconnected. Specifically Americans. I'm going to talk about our people. Okay? Mm-hmm. You know, we know for a fact that Americans are some of the most uptight people when it comes to sex.
Yeah.
Isn't that funny? We know for a fact. I mean,
speaking of that Victorian thing,
yeah,
I mean,
it's
we
like
really
we have this
carried a lot.
very split personality kind of thing. Yeah. It's this everything's sex, everything's about innuendo. You can't get through a show on TV without 15 innuendos being thrown at you.
Including kids
Kids
shows.
cartoons.
Which one were we watching? Adventure Time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And they were making basically sexual innuendos that, obviously only an adult or a very, very messed up
Wasn't it about a box?
Yeah, there was something about a box.
It was about a box. So, on cartoons, no less. And then you have the other side that says, "Oh, we don't don't have sex. Oh, the children. Worry about the children. Well, the children understand. Children aren't stupid.
Mm-hmm.
The children get the sexuality, the underlying sexuality of things. So then we're forced to make a decision between our gut and what we know is going on, and our brain that's receiving this other message of, oh no, not us, you, yucky. You know, from the same idiots who freak out over a nipple during the Super Bowl,
Right.
you know, or a finger during the Super Bowl. Oh my goodness, during the Super Bowl. You're watching a contest of football. Now, I don't want to get all political on football, but scientifically we know football is one of the most dangerous sports out there. We're talking, I mean, like, remember when we started thinking like, oh, well, look at Muhammad Ali, he's all messed up and stuff. What is that? Oh, it's pugilist syndrome. He's got like this Parkinsonian kind of thing. Oh, but guess what? It happens to football players too. Okay? And they have massive brain injuries because they're crashing their heads together. Okay? And the fact that when they were wearing leather helmets, it was safer to play football. Is that sick or what? But we're watching this, and when they hit really hard, it's like, yeah, but don't do the finger, because that's bad. Okay, so think of the messages you're sending to a child when you're doing that. Look at this violence. That's okay. Look at that sex. That's bad. Don't do that. Well, you start realizing that as a human being, that what you're seeing and your reactions are wrong. Because you're being told by society that you should enjoy the violence of football, but ew to the sex. However, since we are sexual beings, we know, and not to be gross, okay, we know that babies have sexuality, okay? Not like, oh, they're ready for sex. I'm saying that their organs are already set. We are born that way. For us.
Any parent who has especially a boy, you know that children understand sexuality and they understand the pleasure of sex at very young ages.
But not like to have sex.
Right, we're not saying that to
No.
have sex, but watch any 4-year-old boy and their hand is on their junk pretty constantly.
Because there's a sensation.
Right.
It's not like they understand sexuality. It's just that they know that there's a sensation. Okay?
Yes, and being that somewhere along the line they're supposed to be taught about this.
Which they're not.
Yes, or they're being taught, in some
Where they're being taught in a
crazy
very
way.
disconnected,
Right.
absurd way. It's almost like a cartoon. What we do with children. It's like, no, don't touch yourself because that's bad.
Right.
Oh, you're 14 now. All of a sudden, you're a sexual being. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
They were sexual before. But we don't bother talking to them about it. This is what happens, people. We become so scared that something's going to happen. Someone is going to take the innocence away from our children. That we refuse to teach them anything about sexuality. And I'm not talking about teaching about the mechanics of intercourse. I'm talking about sexuality.
Right.
Sexuality is everything about you. Okay? Your naughty bits. Well, guess what? Your naughty bits have been online since the moment you were born. Okay? So, teaching a child that those are your bits. This is yours. And nobody gets to touch those things. Well, we don't teach our children that. And this is why they get abused. Ouch. Isn't it funny? And then we think, oh my gosh, it's my fault. Well, you know what? There is a grain of truth in that. It is your fault. You need to prepare your child. Okay? Not overly prepare your child so that they know the Kama Sutra, but understanding that your body is yours. And the sex talk is not something you have at the age of 12 or whatever. The sex talk is something you have from the moment that they find their junk to the moment that, they're coming to you because they have impotency. Okay? It's all that time. It's those 40, 50 years of their life that you can parent them. That's what you're talking to them about. Because you have the experience and they do not. That's what makes you a parent, not because, somebody just hit you with a magic wand.
Now, this isn't really a child abuse prevention show
No,
today.
but it is about that because
Yes.
well, that's why we get all
Yeah,
up when it
see,
comes to who to
that's right,
fuck. We
right.
don't know.
That's because nobody ever told you this. This isn't so we are all going into this, the pre-morbid state, if you will, is
That's the before.
Before having sex is basically all screwed up. It's this big, okay, when we decided to write this is basically a dating question. I mean, this is one of them that we hear all the time.
Yeah.
You are at a club. You are, at your knitting circle. You're at your AA meeting. Whatever it is.
Ladies, if you're finding guys at your knitting circle, just a clue, not them.
Probably.
Don't fuck them.
This question
Or
probably
it's
does
a
not
moot.
apply.
It's moot. Go ahead.
But you're out there and you find somebody that you like, and you are beginning to have that question. Is it time? Now, we know
No, we're not there in the winds.
Yeah.
It's the who.
It's a who.
Okay.
It's the all of it.
How
I'm
is
kinda
it?
given the
How
the
is it that
premise,
okay?
right?
This is where the disconnect happens, and this is what we get. This is the questions I get a lot
Right.
from women. Is I found this great guy, I fuck him, and my friends are all like, oh my god, he's such a jerk, he's such a scumbag. Why don't I see it until after he hurts me? Well, because here's the thing. When we were kids, we were told that our feelings were wrong. Okay? When we were kids, when you felt sad and you started crying, it's like, why are you crying? Now, parents would say that to us, not because they're bad people, it's because they're disconnected too. And one of the things that parents do is that they don't want to see their kids crying unless they're the ones making their kids cry.
Yeah, right.
That's a completely different story.
Right.
Hey,
That's called
we're,
discipline.
yeah, we're parents. We understand that.
Right.
But, it's like, why are you laughing? Well, nervous laughter. I mean, I know that you got in trouble for that a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of saying, honey, are you okay? And understanding where that reaction is coming from. You question the emotion. You question the manifestation of what the emotion is, whether it's tears or laughter or anger. Anger's a big one that we question in kids a lot. And then what we do is slowly erode that gut instinct of a child. Okay? We slowly erode that wrying on, hey, wait, that doesn't feel right. Another reason why kids get abused, okay? That doesn't feel right to me. Why isn't this, I don't feel comfortable right now. My brain is saying it's okay, but my gut is saying, I don't like this. Well, we disconnect from that. By the time we're like 20, we're so disconnected from that we don't get it anymore. Here's your gut, here's your brain. I'm all brain, okay? I'm all brain or I'm all heart. Three very distinct things, okay? Your gut is your intuition. Your gut is the thing, not to get all fluffy and hippie on you, but that's the thing that's like reaching out to the other person's aura and going, ew, and sensing that energy that people are putting off. It's like walking to a house and feeling tension. Some people can't do that. Well, I got this antenna. I would sit in my office and a client would walk in, and the second they'd walk in, I knew exactly where they were. Because I'm letting my gut do what it's supposed to do, okay? If you look at the animals on this...
Miss Adventurer joined the room.
Hello! If you look at, like, animals on the Serengeti, okay? They're all gut. There's no brain to what they're doing. Okay? And
See, I would actually correct that and say that they're integrated.
Right, okay,
See, to
fine.
me, that's more.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Get some like support from my back here. But the point is that they're there, they're surviving
Right.
because they're sitting there, and all of a sudden they sense something is wrong. Well, we don't do that normally anymore
Mm-hmm.
because we've been told that that's wrong. Our society has told us that the gut is just. However, we tell people, yeah, go on your gut. Well, no, you already disconnected my gut a long time ago. So when we're in the club and we see the hot guy and our friends are going, dude, he's such a douchebag. Do not go there. And you're like, wow, but he's so hot. Because you're going all by that animalistic impulse. That's not your gut. That's just animal. That's just, your nether regions.
Well, it's
doing what they need to.
Again, the reason I made the correction with the integrated is because it's not integrated. So you've got this animalistic part of you that, actually I could make a case that that's your gut, but being that it's not connected to anything else but those those nerve impulses, shooting and the
Shooting.
neurochemicals going all over your brain, but there's no connection to anything else. So you just have this feeling that you don't know what to do with.
Right.
It's like lust. It's this lust reaction that you can't even identify.
Mm-hmm. And you think that we have a connection.
Right.
Oh, we're so connected, and your friends are going, no, dude, no.
And then a little side note is because we have bastardized sex so badly now that we've connected it with love, kinda. Okay, because in some case, it's like chemistry. You have to have chemistry.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's actually lust.
Yeah.
So now you're connecting lust with love, but of course, once you have the sex, you don't have the lust.
The lust is gone.
Therefore, the love isn't there anymore.
Isn't it funny? Because it's like, oh, we had such great chemistry. That is probably the worst thing to say about somebody. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the worst thing to say. Because the first thing that's going to leave you after you come is that chemistry. Because that chemistry is what pumps you up. Mm-hmm. That is your foreplay to have sex.
Right.
Do you see how well this isn't working here? Okay? So, why is it that your friends can see the douchebag and you can't see the douchebag? Mm-hmm. Okay? Because we're talking about who to have sex with right now. It's because your friends, in our society, we're okay with looking out for somebody else. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Right.
That's good. That's honorable. That is something that's lauded in our society. However, if you're looking out for yourself, then you're selfish. And you shouldn't do that. Okay? Here comes the psychosis of our cultural, our cultural emotional state is so psychotic. Okay? So, our friends can see the jerk. You can't see the jerk. And I'm talking about normal people out in society. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about someone who's mentally ill.
Right.
I'm also talking,
the extremes,
they're not just a regular person out on the prowl. Okay, so, okay, hold on. So now, of course, I gotta go look at my notes. So, how do you know? Okay, one, you really should take your friend's advice. One, why are you going out with your friends in the first place? There's a reason for that. You hunt in packs. We're told that sex is a weapon, and then we're basically thrown out into, the plains with nothing but our wits. We don't even get a little knife to go hunting. It's a scary, scary thing. And since we put so much pressure on the sexual act and so much pressure on choosing the right mate, it's confusing. It's overwhelming. There's no reason why it should be that difficult It just is, because this is what we've created. Now you go into other societies, you go into other cultures, and it's not that difficult. And it's a lot more relaxed. You know, you go into Europe and all of a sudden sex takes on this completely different thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it so different over there? You're only talking about, you know, several thousand miles. It's not like you're talking about the moon. You're talking about the same species, different culture. Why is it so different? Because they're not doing to their children what we've done to ours. Okay, notice how I'll put myself in there. You know, I wasn't completely, what is it? What is it? Oh my God, I lost the word. I wasn't completely evolved when um when when I became a parent. I wasn't completely self-actualized when I had my daughter. It was, you know, so there is going to be some problems there. Hopefully, I've corrected a lot of the things, a lot of the
But still,
mistakes.
even now, it's a conscious effort. It is
Right.
not. This is not something that comes flowing, easy
Of
hippie
course
work
not.
for us. You know, this is.
Yes.
Oh God,
And
no!
we didn't
I
name
have
her-
to talk about his penis now. Oh come on, you know. Must I just go play Wii? You know. It is definitely. You have to something.
Yeah,
think
you
about.
feel very uncomfortable
Right.
about it because you weren't raised like that. Good God, if it were up to my parents, I would have to be married,
Mhm.
because being 40 something and not married would be really sad.
Yeah.
But no sex and no kids, that's okay. No kids are fine, because you shouldn't be having sex anyway.
Yeah. Or I mean, finding a child maybe. Or,
Well, like we did that for the
yeah.
first one.
Right.
Made my dad happy.
Yeah. See.
I think.
Yes.
Anyway.
Mm.
So, things that you need to ask yourself, okay? Getting reconnected to your gut.
Yes.
The first question you need to ask yourself when you think you found a sexual partner is this: if I'm going to have sex, am I doing this for me?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, that's that whole selfishness thing.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be your priority. Always.
Mm-hmm.
You are your first priority. Always. If you are not, then you are useless.
Yeah.
Because who's gonna take care of you? Whose job is it gonna be to handle you if you're too busy handling everybody else? So you need to take care of yourself. So your first priority has to be, who am I doing this for? Am I doing it for me? Then right there, you know that there's something. Okay, so if it's just a lustful need, okay.
Mm-hmm.
No judgment.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But know that you're doing it for yourself. When you're doing it for yourself, you're taking responsibility for the act. So then the second question you're going to ask yourself is that, am I going to be okay with this tomorrow or 6 months from now? Becomes easy to answer because you're taking responsibility. I'm doing this for me.
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be okay with it tomorrow? Well, I better be. I'm just doing it for me.
Right.
Okay? This one, that is a big question, because nowadays people jump into bed with people and don't really think about it, and then 6 months later are feeling shame.
Mm.
The next day they're feeling shame. And that shame erodes at any concept of ever getting connected with that gut again.
Right.
Okay?
And any forward relationships.
Right. So this whole thing of, sowing your wild oats or experimenting and trying same-sex partners even though you're not homosexual, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
It is a big deal. And we've said this before on this show. It's like, you really need to think about those things.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what's it going to be for you tomorrow? Are you going to feel okay with this? 6 months from now, are you going to be okay with this? Always remember, am I doing this for myself? Am I doing it for some persona of me?
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Like, it's some image you want to put out there. Or is this for me? Remember that. And know that you're taking responsibility at that moment. So there doesn't need to, I'm not saying don't do these things. I'm saying think about it,
Right.
and take responsibility for it.
Mm-hmm.
So there is no shame in it.
Right.
Okay? It's like, we're not judging you people. I'm just saying, you know, I've worked with too many people that have sat there and said, oh, I'm so bad that I just did that. But it's not like they put a gun to your head to do it. So take responsibility.
With this whole topic is kind of hard to differentiate between the who, the what, and the whys on this.
Yeah.
Because really a lot of it does come down to taking responsibility and really being in touch with the who, what, and whys of this for you.
Right.
You know,
We're doing the whens, actually, not the whats.
it's the
Obviously, it's a human being.
yes, that's true. It's the win.
Let's keep it to human.
Yeah, we'll keep it. Yes, you're right. Yeah, let's not
Keep it to human and
Yeah.
adult. How's that? Let's
Yeah.
just be very
Yeah.
clear
Yeah.
on that.
Yes.
Okay.
This is good.
Good.
Okay, you're right. yeah.
See that?
Yeah.
That's a relationship. This is a married couple, and now we just had no, there was a little disagreement. Handled.
Handled. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So where are we at?
And the last question you need to ask yourself: is this person nice to you?
Mm-hmm.
That's a
big
really simple question, and yet that's the one that I ask that question, and people just kind of give me that glassy look, like, "Oh, what?" Sometimes it's like, no,
No.
all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Are they nice to you?
Yeah.
Are they considerate? Are they saying things like, "Hey, you want a glass of water? Sure, I'll take a glass of water." It doesn't have to be this over the top thing. They don't have to like bring you roses every day. Are they just nice to you?
Mhm.
How are you doing? Oh, I left the bathroom warm so that you wouldn't get cold and that kind of thing. Pookie, I brought you coffee.
Keep
That
talking.
kind of thing.
You need to do something. Go ahead.
So, we got the who, the why, purpose of sex. The purpose of sex is what? Well, to get off. I mean, let's
Yeah.
get down to the bottom line. To get off. Why? It's a natural biological act. There's nothing fancy about it. There's nothing that, we put, okay, once again with the psychotic culture, I swear, if anybody watches, you would think that we hate being American because the way that we bash the culture and all that. The reality is I find it fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
As a therapist, I've been a therapist for 20 something years. It's amazing to me that people can hold two opposite beliefs in their head.
Because I won't even say that they do it better or right in Europe. I'll just say that they do
No,
it differently.
they do it differently, but there's a whole healthier aspect to it. I'll be honest with you.
Okay.
It is healthier. They have a healthier outlook when it comes to sex and what it's about. The overhanging thing of shame isn't there.
Mm-hmm.
We were
Yeah,
based
true.
on a very puritanical. I mean, our foundation
Right.
was puritanical. This is why the United States has this. Hey, everything's about sex. Don't do the sex thing. Wow, sex. Look at those cheerleaders and their tits are falling out of it, but don't show a nipple.
Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm.
What do you want from me? You're showing me two, it's like the things that the people who complain are the foundation for the family. Why the hell are you letting your kids watch this? If you are really about a family, why would you let your child watch this? It's 8 o'clock you're for watching the Super Bowl with your kids. It's 8 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Your kids should be asleep because they got school tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I mean? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense if you're telling me, "Oh, I'm protecting my child." From what? Our children need more protection from us than anything else. That's gonna get me in trouble.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I agree. But
It's true. I mean, kids. Kid says to my kid. My son tells me yesterday. "Oh, my friend, his dad owns a gun shop." Right there, my eye starts twitching.
Mm-hmm.
And he says he's going to bring me a gun next week. Twitch, twitch,
Yeah.
twitch. What?
Yeah, we said nuh-uh.
Yeah. And now is the concern of, what if this kid actually brings a gun to school?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, I have no issue. I mean, You like your guns, great.
Yeah.
We don't.
We're not gun people.
We're not gun people. If you are responsible with your gun, fantastic. We think this whole idea of the right to bear arms, well, that made sense when you wanted to have a militia of common people because you didn't have an armory to arm everybody. It made sense. Now it doesn't, because we have a standing, armed forces. We don't need to be protecting ourselves in our homes from the Russians. Okay? So that's our beliefs. I don't shit on your beliefs. But just this idea that this man has this kid, this man owns a gun shop, and his child has not been taught that you don't talk about that. You don't say things like, I'm going to bring a gun to school.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect there. There is no that respect for firearms is not there in that household.
Yeah.
That comment from that child to my son told me what they live in. Okay? I mean, yes, it must be really screwed up to live with a therapist. As a child. I know this. Okay? That, I've got this kid who's talking about his feelings and shit, and this other kid's saying, I'm going to bring you a gun. You know what I mean? So, yes, we got to watch what we say. So anyway, we got the who, the why, the purpose of sex. One of the things that really bothers me, okay, is, in talking with other women, and I'm going to talk to you ladies about this specifically. When talking to women, and they say things like, well, sex is okay, but I really just do it for him. That is so sad. It's so sad that people still do that. Okay? Sex is not okay. Sex is fantastic. Sex is great. That you haven't taken the time in your marriage to make sex amazing for you.
Yeah.
Once again, you are your priority. You are the number one. If you are happy, everybody happy. Because you've taken care of yourself. So you're not reacting to the world because you feel that you have to take care of the world. Get it? So if you're doing it for yourself and you're getting off, then trust me, your partner will be happy.
This is true.
Simple as pie.
Yeah.
Okay? If you're saying to me that, nah, I just do it for him, you are rescuing him. And we've talked about rescuing on the show many times. Yeah. If you haven't seen it, go to our YouTube channel and get the playbacks. We've talked about rescuing. We talked about victimhood. When you rescue a victim, sooner or later you're going to resent the hell out of that victim. Because today you'll be doing it, I'm doing it for you. Okay? Oh, you poor baby, you want sex? Okay, I'll do it for you. Okay? He's the victim, you are the rescuer. Well, sooner or later, the victim's going to ask you for sex, and you're going to be like, oh, again? Oh, and what do I get out of this?
Yeah.
Okay?
Or you're going to meet a lady like you, who actually enjoys sex. And they're going to say things about, how great it is, and you're going to be first clueless, and then angry.
Right, and then you're going to blame your partner for it.
Yeah.
And it's not his fault. And we get this all the time from women that, how can he? No. You did this. It's like faking an orgasm. You don't fake an orgasm because then he's going to think, this is what you like.
Right.
If this is what you like, I'm going to keep doing this. Well, guess what? That's not going to give you an orgasm. Okay? So.
This is straight behavioral.
Yeah,
stuff.
It's like a guy is so, I say this to women all the time, and I say it with such respect because I adore men. Men are simple. Men want to make us happy. This is what they were bred for. Okay? And yet what we do is make it so fucking complicated for them. We're not giving them that A plus B equals C. We're saying A minus Q. Where would you bring the Q from? Well,
you wouldn't train a dog like this?
No.
I mean, dog comes in, poops on the rug, you wouldn't go, good doggy, and then walk away and go, God, I'm so pissed. Why did he poop on the
Right.
rug?
And then not feed them.
Yes, and then not feed him later.
There's no connection there.
Right.
If you tell a guy, you know what, I really don't like when you do that in bed.
Right.
He'll be like, really? Well, what would you like?
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be, women, please. We'll have a show about this soon.
Yes. Okay.
Get it together.
Yes.
So
So
stop
we're still doing-
rescuing.
Right, we're doing the whys, right? Okay.
No, we're doing the
Yeah,
wise.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no more rescuing.
Right.
Life's too short to rescue people. Enjoy yourself.
Yes. So why do we have sex? Because it feels good.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
where yeah. And
There's-
if you're not letting it feel good, for whatever
Yeah.
reason,
I mean, this is why
work on that.
Yeah, this is why infertile couples, and we know this because we went through several years of this.
Mhm.
This is why infertile couples have a hard time, because all of a sudden, sex isn't just about feeling good. Sex is about schedule, and there's yeah. So we lose that abandon of sex, and it becomes a job.
Yeah.
And this is what puts so much strain on a marriage when you're going through infertility, is that why becomes very convoluted, and that why becomes bastardized. And that's I think we should do a week on that.
Okay.
On infertility, because we know we were there.
We did
We
that.
did
Yeah.
it, and it was horrible.
You're right.
I mean, from a couple that really enjoyed having sex together to,
Uh-huh.
and it took us a while to get back into the swing of things,
Yep.
and to recommit to just being with each other and enjoying each other.
Right.
So.
Yeah, please notice that during this why conversation, we're not bringing in procreation.
No.
Because based
there
on
really
the
is no
premise,
point.
well, based on the
There's no
premise,
point in that.
if you're meeting your guy at whatever, the bar or whatever, you're probably not shooting for procreation.
No.
Hopefully you're
Hopefully
doing
not.
everything you can.
Good God,
not
no.
to.
You need to vet the dude a little bit
Yeah.
more. I mean, come on. At least know where he grew up.
Yeah.
Was there mercury in his water?
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yes.
So, where are we? The when.
The win.
Where am I? Oh, good. The when. This is the thing, and I really love the way that he wrote this. See, I give him credit.
Yeah, I wonder what I wrote.
No,
I'm trying to remember.
that basically that you're going to tread that line between impulsivity and addiction. No, you're going to tread the line between impulsivity, addiction, and being a prude. That's what
That
it
was
is.
it. Yeah, somewhere
sorry.
in between there.
I didn't write it. He wrote it. It's his concepts. I don't understand anything.
Yeah, right.
So, we're laughing because it's funny. It's not true. Anyway, so yes, but he did write it. So, yeah, you go back a couple weeks and you could read all this stuff on coupledom.com. But you have the addiction in us that wants to constantly sate that desire, that need, that, like, gosh, I really want a piece of chocolate. Eat the piece of chocolate.
Right.
That's impulsivity.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even breakfast time. You might want to, like, before you pop the Hershey's Kiss in your mouth, it's not breakfast time yet. Oh, I want it anyway. And bypassing that, well, maybe this is not a good choice for me. And you don't even hear yourself thinking that. So it's that all that animal. Yes, yes, yes. I want.
Right.
Then you have the prude side saying, no, no, no. The prude side saying, I don't, and that indecision, and I don't want to. And so then nobody worries about, I don't think that we get as much, I'm not going to say nobody worries about this, but I know that there's more concern about moving too fast rather than moving too slow. And I think more and more people are getting the idea that moving slower is better. but there's still that concern: is this too fast? So the point is, first date obviously too fast. It's just you don't have enough information to answer the is he nice to you or is she nice to you. You don't have enough information to answer for yourself, am I doing this for me? You don't have enough information. So obviously, first date, too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Now, people have like their date rules, like 3 dates, 4 dates, 5 dates. I think that the standard rule is 3 dates, right?
I think so. Something like that. Yeah.
We've been married for 20.
Yeah.
How many years? 23 years. I don't remember.
But notice a lot of this win kind of goes back to having all of the why and who questions answered.
Mm-hmm.
If you can't answer all of those, then the win is
Never.
not now, right?
Never or not now.
Yeah.
The thing is, okay, and I've said this a million times, and I know that this sounds very fantastical, very movie. When it's right, it's right.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't, you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. You can't make something that it isn't. Yeah, okay, like, let's say that he's perfect for you on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's so nice, he's this, whatever, and you meet, and you're just not feeling it. And I'm not going to say this is chemistry, because I hate that word. You're not feeling a connection with this person. Okay? See, chemistry makes it all about this libidinous thing. Chemistry makes it all about lust. I'm talking about a connection where you actually like each other.
Mm-hmm.
Where you actually do things like, God, I really enjoy being with this person. It's not just being, like, oh, I want to fuck them. It's about, I like being with them.
Right.
You know that instantly. That's not something that you have to work at. And especially if you're being honest.
Mm-hmm.
See, there's that H word again.
Yeah.
If you're being honest and you're having these conversations, then you're like, okay, this is real.
Mm-hmm.
You have to conclude that it's real, because if he's being honest and you're being honest, then you're having an honest connection.
Mm-hmm.
And you're liking each other. See, this is the problem with first dates where you're dishonest.
Right.
You're basing a relationship on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
On, these fantasies, these lies, these...
See, I would say with the win has a lot to do with that honesty. Can you even talk about it? Can you sit down and talk with the person for a half an hour about the fact that you want to have sex?
Talk about past partners.
Yeah. Can you talk about all of that stuff?
Talk about, I ain't got no diseases.
Right. Because we do have a kind of a hard, fast rule, is if you can't talk about it, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Because
you haven't created the intimacy. Okay, now I want to remind people, intimacy is not sex.
Mm-mm.
Intimacy has nothing to do with sex. Sex is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Sex can lead to intimacy.
And healthy sex should have some intimacy.
Yeah. Intimacy can lead to sex. Right. However, they're not the same thing. Intimacy is a hand on the thigh. Intimacy is that kiss goodnight. Mm-hmm. Intimacy is that, are you okay? Intimacy is the cuddling. It's the, I don't want anything from you except to just be with you. Wow, mm-hmm. Right? Mind blowing. But we keep thinking, no, we need to connect, in that tantric way. Look, I have no problem with tantra. Mm. That's very fun and very exciting and all that stuff. The point is, it's not even intimacy, because you see, if you're going to tantra to create intimacy, tantra is about you creating enlightenment. You, not you. Uh-huh. So, yeah, we know about all those things too. So, it's not about being intimate. If you can't be intimate without taking off your clothes, you shouldn't be having sex. If you're thinking that, no, I want to get closer to him. No. Stop using the euphemisms. If you want to fuck them.
Right.
The point is, if you can't talk about it, if you can't be intimate with each other, just like sitting there together, just being together, then it maybe is a bad idea.
See, a lot of this, it does go back to that whole honesty thing. And it's not honesty between the two people, it's honesty with yourself. If you're going to fuck somebody when you first meet them, then be honest with yourself and know that you haven't created this relationship.
Intimacy or anything.
Intimacy or anything of that sort. If you are going to hold out until some weird arbitrary time.
Valentine's Day.
Yes, it has to be on Valentine's Day.
Oh, that would be so beautiful because then you could tell your grandchildren, first time I fucked your grandfather was on Valentine's Day.
Again,
you're not going to tell your grandchildren that.
Be honest with yourself as to what this is all about, because now it has nothing to do with having sex with the person.
Right.
It has to. You made something
arbitrary.
Up.
Okay. Being that Valentine's Day is on Tuesday. Okay. So I want to be really clear, people. These arbitrary days that were picked for whatever reason is beautiful and everything. But I would rather spend 364 days telling my husband how much I love him than that one specific day.
Right.
I don't expect him to come and bring me flowers. I don't expect him to bring me chocolates. And if he doesn't do something for me, I'm not going to get pissed. Okay? Because it's an arbitrary day. I'm with him 366 this year.
Yay.
You know,
you got an extra day.
Yay! It doesn't matter. It's an arbitrary day. Now, you're thinking, oh, wow, they're not very romantic. No, you see, we're romantic every other day.
Yes, all the days.
If you're only romantic one day a year, that kind of sucks.
Yes.
Okay? So, love all the time. I mean, we spend our Valentine's Day with our kids. Because we love our children.
Yeah.
So why not spread it, right? So we're running out of time,
Yeah,
aren't
we got like 2 minutes left.
Okay, so, wow, this was a show. Very renting.
3 minutes, yeah.
Okay, so, use this, use your gut,
Bring it all together.
bring it all together, listen to your friends who actually love you and are concerned about you.
Talk about it.
Talk about it.
A lot of talking. Oh, we didn't even talk about shame at all.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
I
Oh,
did
I
talk
didn't
about
hear.
shame. Yeah, I
Okay.
did talk about shame.
Oh, yeah, we talk. It's like if you're talking, then you release all that shame, and you can actually do what you want to. Okay. Sorry.
No, it's true. You know, I mean, first time we had sex, we talked about it. In fact, I made him talk about it.
Oh yeah.
I
It
said,
was
okay,
like a
what do you want to do?
corporate merger.
Yeah, it was. It really was. It was like, what do you want to do? And he was like, what? And I'm like, what do you want to do? I want to hear what you want to do.
Yeah.
Now, did I have any concept? No, I wanted to feel okay with it. I was nervous. He was a man that I was already in love with. I didn't, you know.
So I got my bedroom eyes on, and I told her. I tried to do my bedroom eyes.
Yeah, he just
I
looked like he
looked
was sleepy.
Yeah.
He looked sleepy. Do you
Yeah.
need a nap? Anyway, so that was a long time ago, people.
Yes.
Okay, so next week
Next week.
we have a guest. We're going to be talking to these people. Woman of Pause, Stop Pausing and Start Living. This is Lavera Miller and David Miller, both doctors that work with women, and they're going to be talking about menopause. And that it doesn't have to be that horrible thing that it used to be. They're talking about ovaries are us. Look at that. What a wonderful. So we'll be talking to them next week. We'll also probably, throw in some other good stuff about growing older together. And it doesn't have to diminish. And we'll bring in the sex stuff again. Because I know that that's some of the stuff that happens here. So, where are we?
Seconds.
Okay. So thank you for watching.
We're
We
done.
had a really good show. Talk to you next week.
Bye.